Welcome back to the channel. Today we are delving into a little piece of history, the significance of November 5th. Remember, the 5th of November, the Gunpowder, Treason, and Plot. You may have seen or heard references to this rhyme in popular film or television. Those outside of England may wonder, what exactly does that even mean? What is the Gunpowder Plot? Well, the whole plot began as a result of Robert Catesby's prior meetings with Thomas Wintour over their desire to be rid of the existing King James and the government in favor of installing the third in line, Princess Elizabeth, as ruler. Wintour sought help from the Spanish for their plan, traveled to meet Hugh Owen, who was an exiled Welsh spy, who at that time was the Constable of Castile. He knew the Spanish would not help, but he introduced Wintour to Guy Fawkes. Fawkes was ideal for their plan, as he had been away from England for many years, so was unlikely to be recognized there. So in April of 1604, Fawkes returned to England to join their cause. The first meeting of the 5 central conspirators took place on Sunday, May 20th, 1604, at an inn called the Duck and Drake, which was in the fashionable Strand district in London. The conspirators also recruited Thomas Percy, who had gained employment to a royal position that allowed him access to a house owned by John Wynyard, who was the keeper of the king's wardrobe. In order to move their plan along, they made Guy Fawkes the caretaker of the house, and he took on the pseudonym of John Johnson. This is where the story shows some possible embellishment, probably to add to the intrigue of the lore. The group allegedly began digging a tunnel from under that house to underneath the House of Lords around late autumn, early winter of 1604. This information did come from Thomas Wintour's later confession and Guy Fawkes's 5th interrogation, although no one ever found any evidence of such a tunnel. This tunnel theory comes into play because it was apparently in that tunnel they heard a noise from above, which turned out to be a newly vacant room above their tunnel, but directly below the House of Lords. As luck would have it, that room was also owned by John Wynyard, so the plotters rented that room too. Since the room was in such disarray, it was a total mess, they decided it would be the perfect place to store the gunpowder they planned to use to take care of their issue. They carted in 20 barrels during the first month or two, then 16 more barrels of gunpowder by July 20th, 1605. In the time between the storage of the first batch of barrels and the second, Fawkes traveled overseas to try to gain more followers for their cause. On July 28th, the group was dismayed to learn that there would be a delay in the opening of Parliament due to the plague. They had basically been delayed. Fawkes returned to England by August of 1605, and he went with Wintour to check on their room. More bad news. All the gunpowder had decayed. They acquired more gunpowder and added some firewood to hide it. The plotters finalized their plan during October 1605 and appointed Guy Fawkes as the one who would light the match, then escape across the Thames River. He would not be able to stay in England after killing a king, so the plan was for him to flee to mainland Europe to speak to the Catholic superiors, appeal to their sense of holy duty. In late October, some of the conspirators were suddenly worried, realizing that some fellow Catholics would attend the Parliament opening. A warning letter was sent in secret to Lord Monteagle. Public consensus was to classify the letter as a hoax, so the conspirators did not alter their plan. Just to be safe, though, Fawkes checked on the room again on October 30th and confirmed that nothing had been disturbed. Despite common belief that his warning letter was a hoax, Lord Monteagle was suspicious, so showed his letter to King James. The king demanded that all the spaces underneath Parliament be searched during the early hours of November 5th. Fawkes was seen leaving the cellar just after midnight, and he was arrested. When that cellar was searched, of course, the barrels of gunpowder were found. Thus, Fawkes's series of interrogations began. Throughout, he was obstinate and freely declared his plan was to blow you Scotch beggars back to your native mountains. The king admired the stout resolution shown by Fawkes, but nonetheless ordered him to be tortured in stages until he provided all the information about the plot and the names of his fellow conspirators. By November 7th, after enduring some torture, Fawkes had provided them with his true name. By November 8th, he had given them some of the co-conspirators' names, and then by November 9th, he provided the name of Francis Tresham, one of the conspirators who had provided funding and who likely was the one who wrote the anonymous letter to Lord Monteagle. Monday, January 27th, 1606, was the start of the trial for the 8 plotters. They were all found guilty pretty quickly. 4 days later, Wintour, Ambrose Rookwood, Robert Keyes, and Guy Fawkes were taken to Old Palace Yard, where the first 3 were hanged and quartered. Fawkes, either deliberately or coincidentally, broke his neck before the quartering portion of his sentence. And so, the tradition of Guy Fawkes Night, also called Guy Fawkes Day, or Bonfire Night, or Plot Night, kicked off as a celebration of the king's escape from the 13 conspirators' plan. Traditionally, the event consists of burning a makeshift guy, a doll made out of items like newspaper, a mask, small clothes. So they'll burn this makeshift guy in a roaring bonfire. Over the years, fireworks shows have been added as a feature. Today, Guy Fawkes is presented in less of a disparaging light, and in some circles even viewed sympathetically or as a hero freedom fighter standing up for the injustice and tyranny. Whatever your views on this man may be, the event is certainly a fascinating part of history. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Samuel's History Snips. Please click that thumbs up button and subscribe. Also, comment below how you first learned of this bit of history. We've included links below so you can learn a little bit more. But we'll see you next time. Thanks.